What's going on, everybody? This is James, and I'm here, I guess, having an honest moment with my bro. And you definitely have seen him on my podcast recently. Actually, when we first started, you seen him on my podcast, and you can go back and catch that episode and see all the stuff that we talked about and discussed. But I have my boy Zaxaii with me here tonight, and he just blessed us to just come and just have an honest bro to bro conversation. So, Zaxaii, thank you for pulling up, man, and just sitting down and having an honest, chill moment with me, bro. I appreciate it, dude.
Bro, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. You already know, bro. What's been, I guess, since the last time we spoke, like what's been the change? You know, like has there been some good things that's happened since the last conversation? You know, has there been some exciting things, some lessons? Like, you know, what's new?
Let's break it down. Life ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Right? Definitely some good stuff. Definitely bad, but I feel like since the last time we spoke, my understanding of what that looks like is that everything kind of works together. It's a spectrum, right? Good, bad, it all works together for the good, right? But if we're talking musically, yes, for sure, I feel like I was chasing my understanding of purpose. I know from our last conversation, you know, when we spoke about with Black Pearl and the fan one time.
Yeah.
It was just how you feel like you're in a zone when things are finally starting to kick in. Now you feel like life is kind of throwing you for a loop, and it's like, how do you continue?
Yeah.
I fell into this world of fear, a bit you can say, right? And then from there, I wouldn't say I kind of gave up on artistry, but for the most part, like on my own accord, I didn't release much stuff. I had went away for a little bit. I was gone for like 6 months. I went to Dubai for a little bit, and it was great. It was cool. Still amazing. Still affiliated with them. But even in that time, I was a lot of solidarity, just by myself and just solo, and kind of just trying to understand where I'm at, what life looks like. I was going through a breakup. It was up and down. So that definitely helped in hindsight, because now we're here today, and I think I was spoke about that I was in real estate then too.
Yeah.
Still got my license, still keeping my license, but at the top of January, you feel, you know, when something just kind of clicks.
Yeah.
I felt like it all clicked, and I was like, I am giving all my attention to something that is not my purpose. And that was a question I kept asking God for years, but I was really intentional those last 2 years, and I was allowed to go through this journey of self-discovery. I think we're always forever discovering ourselves in any type of fashion, way, form. But in that time, things were revealed to me about myself, my weaknesses, my strengths, but also me allowing fear to do what it needed to do and deter me. But at the very same time, like I said, everything works for the good. So it gave me a lot of content to write about, and just honesty. So that's pretty much the update for now.
So I know you said you took a break, like within that time. It was like 6 months, you said?
6 months, yeah.
Six months. Like, so, and I guess within those 6 months, what was some of those disappointments, I guess, in music?
Oh, well, I mean, I was in the UAE for 6 months, but the break that I took as an artist and releasing stuff, damn near 2 years, really.
2 years.
Yeah, because I didn't really release anything underneath my name or under me. It was just a lot of features.
So within those 2 years, like you were still working, but you were just kind of like collabing and Okay. So I guess, so what was that turn when you were like consistent with the music, and then like it just stopped and you took that 2-year break? Like where were you in that moment when you made that decision?
In that moment, dog, I was in a place of anxiety, fear, because I mean, we live in this post-pandemic world, right? And we live in this, and me being in real estate for as long as I was in real estate allowed me to really understand, global economics. And then of course, traveling allows you to understand that too. Housing market, inflation, interest rates. So then all these things that the world kind of places before you just really scared me. And as an artist, just a pure artist, it's difficult, especially if you're not treating it like a business. And we spoke about that on the first podcast. So that was my mindset. I was just in a state of fear and just in confusion and anger, definitely anger.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I feel like I should have been somewhere that I wanted to be, but I wasn't, right? And a skewed understanding of what success looked like, no matter what quote unquote accolades that I quote unquote may or may not have. It doesn't make sense, especially in New York City. Somebody does something, or did a something, or did a something. Okay, are you producing some sort of income? Can I make a living?
Yeah,
from this, right?
yeah.
So that's where I was then.
And I think the world plays a big mind game on that too. Like, it's just because as artists, you have to be creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in order to be creative, those are like pure spaces, like pure moments. And sometimes with the world, with all the responsibilities, all of, I guess, the people, watching what you're doing too, and seeing the moves that you're making as well. Like, I know those are some of the things that I think about as well, is like having those moments of just being overwhelmed.
Oof.
Like, just completely overwhelmed with everything. You got family that you're thinking about, and now I'm just like, just talking about like even myself too. Like, you got family that you're thinking about, a career that you're thinking about that's not always a guarantee. You know what I mean? But this world is, you get up every morning and it's still moving.
Yep.
Like, it's still moving. There's still things are still happening. So it's like even trying to jump out the water for air sometimes is like all you got at the moment, So sometimes taking those breaks is weird, because for artists and to be creative, those breaks are needed. But as far as the business is concerned, and I guess the demand in what we do, taking those breaks can also be very dangerous too. So I know you say you had like a lot of anxiety and things like that you had to deal with. But I guess, when do we get to the point where we decide like what matters the most? Because sometimes even with taking those breaks, your mind can still go. Because you're passionate about everything.
Yeah.
You're just passionate about everything at the bottom line. So it's just like, hey, I'm taking this break for me. But then it's like, okay, when do I what's that mind frame of making that decision? Because some people don't do that. Some people like, if I take a break now, like it's gonna mess up X, Y, and Z, and I gotta meet my deadlines. I gotta meet my goal. I gotta do this. So what I guess steps or methods did you take to kind of like make that decision and say, hey, look, I'm going to take this time for me?
Well, for me, it was a mix of being conscious and aware, but also, I'm not gonna lie, fear played a massive part of that, right? It started off, I want to say, post-pandemic, right? When just to paint that story, I'm living in Harlem. I was loving this, self-discoveries, this self-growth, etc. Whatever. We got the break. We've gotten X amount of months off.
It's Mike's, bro.
X amount of months off due to the pandemic. But I realized that A, I wasn't making any money, right? B, I also then realized, I did like a soft audit of my artistry, right? So the break kind of stemmed from then, but I thought, okay, it's just me to understand what the public looks like, right? Or rather, I should say, how am I perceiving, what does my music look like and my artistry? How is it being perceived by the public? That turned into just this real deep dive and cleaning of not even just the music, but me as a person. So I want to say it almost started before that. But to answer your question, it was a mix of me trying to do what needs to be done business-wise, but also just, again, a lot of fear, because when I felt like I was ready to start again, right, I started doing I purposely do like one-off shows, especially in New York, right? I didn't want people to feel like they can catch me every week, because then that kind of, in my opinion,
I agree,
deters, or diminishes the brand. So there was a bit of imposter syndrome, but all the shows kept being sold out, and I was like scared too, and I felt like, okay, I got to keep going. And then I reached the point where I had reached, forgot who contacted me, some promoter. They were trying to give me like a 400-seater, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this just now, because again, I also don't have a product, right? Because you could do a show, but if you do a show without the music, there's no product. So that's when I said, all right, I just gotta stop. It was a mix of fear, business, and just identity. Like, I wanted to know me, of who I am, because the public will, especially in today's day and age, dog, like where the world wants to know everything about you. It's like, you can't fake the funk. You feel me? And only real ones is gonna last. I forgot what rapper said that. Only real things gonna last. All that other BS out the window. You feel me? So
man, because what's crazy, because I think even for now, with all that I guess all of us are doing, as artists, with just recording and putting things out. I think as of late, like since this year started, I've seen so many of my peers and other artists like producing music and putting stuff out and creating new lanes and, stuff like that. For me, personally, as an artist, I think what scares me the most is who the heck can I trust?
Oof.
No, like I just, because there's so much going on, and it's not even from my pool of people. It's like from seeing legends and people who are like these pioneers and whatever. It's a mixture of just knowing too much now, because when I was first starting doing all of this and stuff, like it was all like just from my experience based and my people who can kind of like ground me and just my desire, and now that I'm privileged to a lot of information and in rooms and hearing things and seeing things and actually being older now and being in this for a minute, bro, some of that scares me now, because artistry is like our kid.
It really is.
It's our kid, like this is why we do what we do. So to put it into the hands or to trust that people will appreciate it the same way you do, and finding that type of team that can back you up with that, you know what I mean, and support you too. Because even as independent artists, it's like trying to do this thing is mind tasking, because you have to think about every single thing, and finding a group of people that can say, yo, we got your back, and it's not their dream, it's not their vision. I think that's like the biggest challenge for us sometimes as artists, because it could be one little thing and it's like, oh nah, bro, I can't.
Let me pick it.
This is mine. I don't know if I can trust it now, because I've seen, but it's fear. A lot of that is fear, and I think it boils down to kind of like getting a real grip on prayer life.
Yeah.
Getting a real grip on just seeing the reality around you, and not necessarily like things that are going on in the world, because that can manipulate your mind frame too, and cause a lot of different fear in you as well. So I know what you mean when it comes down to that, for sure. So going back to you, when you said you took that 2-year break and now you're back into the music and stuff, like you took that 2-year break to kind of, reconstruct, get your mind together, and kind of like just own into your own, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So after I came back, after 6 months in UAE, I dove more into the real estate side, because I still didn't feel like I was an artist, right? It just didn't make sense to me. And now I am like, I just like when I felt, rather I should say, when I A, forgave myself, B, recognize that, yo, I really do this. I do this. And also realize that, you know what? You got to have faith, going back to that prayer life.
Yeah.
Then I said, all right, you wildin', just go. Just do it, right? And I guess I didn't recognize just how much lack of faith that I had.
Yeah.
And that's big. And you know what? I also realized and recognize where it stemmed from and where it stems from. But like to keep it positive, when you let go of that, man, it's just like water flows though, up and down. Like it's since the beginning of the year, I told myself I'm gonna give myself a goal of 4 songs a month, and I did that on purpose, because 4 songs a month should be feasible.
Yeah.
And if I go past it, even better, right? So I've been banging those out, like next, boom. Next.
So was it easy for you to come back into your creativity after taking that break, or did it take a minute for you to get into that bag of, now I'm writing again, I'm listening for things again, you know what I mean, and inspiration and stuff like that? Like, was it easy for you to get back into that bag? Or
I feel like it never really left per se, but I felt like when I was more intentional, it was easy, because it's like when you it's gonna be a horrible analogy. It's like when you gotta go to the bathroom. You feel me?
Okay, yeah, that is a horrible. That's a horrible one.
And it's just like
it's a terrible one.
It wasn't as graphic. I'm just
could have said something else.
I don't know. But it's what it felt like. It was because there were times I was at the office, and it was so funny because at the office, my real estate office,
Yeah.
then real estate office, I found myself working on the music or some event that I had to take care of or whatever it may be. And I was like the whole literal day. And I'm looking at my notes, I'm looking at my notepad, I'm looking at the stuff that I've written. So it was like, I'm still doing this, you feel me? And what really like just like hit the nail in the coffin and just said, all right, you done, was when I had to go back to the UAE to do these 2 performances top of January. And I did them and I said, man, I'm wilding out here, dog. I came back home and I said, yo, I love you, hit my partners up respectfully. I said, I appreciate y'all, but not this ain't me, dog. Gone. And then from there, I just sat down and I said, all right, pen to paper, all my voice notes, all my past productions, all songs. I was like, oh, I sat down just like, oh, fine.
So wait, so going out there is kind of like what kind of put that light bulb in your head to just...
As an artist, yeah.
As an artist.
Out there, I'm an artist. I'm an artist entrepreneur, but for the most part, I'm an artist. They know me as an artist.
Yeah.
So I have to be an artist. So
and people don't understand, like, even having those experiences, because that's a blessing to even be able to go, you know, across the world with your gift and your talent, right? But then it also shows you how much you're appreciated in certain lanes and certain areas, you know, because I witnessed that even being overseas for a few amount of times that I was out there and performing and seeing how it's like not necessarily a bigger appreciation. Well, it is a bigger appreciation, but it's like you're not even doing half of of the pulling that you do like in your own area, you know.
Half the pulling, but also even what you're giving out.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they appreciate it.
OD.
They appreciate just the gift of music. So I can see how just being out there and being away from the norm too, you know, and the norm conversation and the norm people and just spacing yourself out and being able to be that artist, you know, like how was that experience out there?
Well, I would say, I mean, first and foremost, out there, it feels like it's New York, but just with more like hijabs, abayas, and the other side, you feel me? So where you might see, you know, I don't know, where we might go to the Caribbean for like vacay. Out there, you go to Bali for vacay or like Maldives for vacay, or so you'll see more of like the other side of Africa out there. So that's the way I kind of envisioned it and kind of saw it in my head. Right? It was awesome because I felt like it was a vacation. Like, you know what we do, bro. Like especially in this city, it's always a go.
It's a grind.
Everything's a grind and it's a go. You feel me? It had its cons, and boy, I mean, we spoke about that, but but the pros were, yo, like, it's love, it's genuine love, but it's genuine love for the artist. There's a lot of show. There's a whole lot of show. I'm not gonna hold you, but again, only real ones is gonna last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like if even in this time, the people that put in that work, when you're presented with a situation where, not even just overseas situation, where something you're presented to whatever stage, because you've been putting in that work for so many X amount of time, it's just like, oh, all right, whatever's go time. You feel me? That's how I felt out there.
Yeah.
I feel out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you hear like even the greats even say it too, like sometimes when you sit back and you watch their interviews and stuff like that, that they actually have to go away. And like it could take a day, it could take a week, it could be a month of just going away, going somewhere different, you know, like, you know, Thailand or just somewhere, you know, and then being inspired to then come back. Yeah. And then go into full gear into their artistry and into their music. So when you did come back from that, you said you gave yourself 4 songs a month as a goal. Yeah. Okay. So I guess from that experience, you know, how's that been so far? Because that was January, right?
I'm shattering it right now.
Yeah.
I'm a little, like, I want to keep that mindset going. Like, I feel like I'm focused and distracted, but on that side of things, I'm locked in. Like, it's just been record after record after record, but also it's been beneficial for me too, because I feel like my Achilles heel is sometimes I'm too out there, you know what I mean? Like, even the years that I took off was mad features, but it was features because I was like, all right, I'll help you out, whatever, or like, yo, yeah, I'll jump on a record, whatever, sounds kind of different, and then they didn't release it, but then they released it in 1 year, full year at once, and just like, oh, this is confusing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, it's funny because now, to the public in a certain area, I'm a deep house artist. It's just like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful because that was God allowing me to the public to see that I'm still doing it, when really honestly was not.
And things happen for a reason too,
It really
because
do.
yeah,
It really do.
yeah, it shows like a connection. Because from the outside looking in, just from seeing how you've been moving,
Yeah.
putting yourself in different positions to get those opportunities, I think that's also a thing to talk about too, like just positioning yourself in a sense, not necessarily having it all planned out.
No.
Because things like
faith.
and it's faith, but then things are always changing. Like things don't stay the same. So it's like always trying to figure out the what's next and what's happening, stuff like that. Sometimes it's just by being in a room, being in a new position, being in a different headspace and things like that to receive something different. Those opportunities come out. So for you not to even work on your own music, but to be featured on others, has that, because I know you said you said house.
I'm a whole deep house artist to like another side of a world, but
That's crazy.
Popping on the Spotify right now, which was confusing at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, how'd this happen? You know what I mean?
So I guess with that, like those, I guess, new fans of your music now, did that dive more into all the other stuff that you created too? Like they heard you do that and then they made them interested now to see all your other body of work? Like has that build up any?
To a degree, I would say that market is so niche, right? It's super niche that it's gonna be confusing when I release the rest of these projects. But the people that are fans, they listen to the music. The rest of the stuff that's beyond it. But also it's also inspired me too. But nevertheless, in that genre, it's more DJ centered, but it's dope because say the DJ has a budget and they be like, yo, I want to fly you out. You trying to do this show?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm trying to do this show.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Yeah,
It's going to
yeah.
be a different experience. But also that's also a little bit of my origins too. When I was like flat broke working in the Eastern European community in Brooklyn when I had nothing to my name, you know what I mean? And it was like, yo, you trying to do this gig Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Heck yeah, I'm trying to do this gig Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
How much you trying to pay me?
Sounds like a residency to me. Like
you
count
feel
me in. Yeah.
What's up? Like, you know what I mean? But that all, again, played a role in, I guess, where God wanted me to go. The journey is never how you envision and how you plan it, because I promise you, there was ain't no way I was looking to do that. You feel me? But, through the grace of God, real talk, it allowed me to keep and maintain a certain versatility, if you will, in fandom, and it allowed me to go towards a different market, different world.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hey, here we are today. There's definitely going to be a project where it's just that. That's how I'm breaking up all this ADD music right now, just placing everything in its own kind of package and breaking it into EPs, and not to say whatever hits, because they're all parts of me over the years.
Yeah.
But it's to say that, okay, now I know how to market this, how to package it, especially in today's day and world, which I was really bitter about at first, because I'm not a fan of TikTok. Still not a fan of TikTok.
And it's going, well, I'm not going to say it's going down. But it is being stripped of a lot of different things that was making it, the it thing for artists and stuff like that too. But I understand that. So I'm going to ask you this too. I think with me coming more into my artistry now, I'm learning that there is and we know that there's a difference where, artists, songwriters, stuff like that. But I'm really learning that there is a difference.
Talk to me. Because I'm your boy, but I'm still a fan, dog. Like, you already know,
man.
And you've been teaching me how to properly roll out a record, a single, but also to be wise in the show. So I'm looking at me interviewing you now. So.
No, because we're like I said, this is something that's totally different, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? And we don't necessarily always get a chance to do this because between your schedule and stuff I have going on,
better, bro.
Yeah, we're getting better. We definitely getting better at it. But I think for me, I'm learning that how I see things, I see the bigger picture first. And I think that's why my strength has always been that branding aspect and just the rollout and how people just see the things that I do or whatever, is because I see it all in front of me first.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, how do I break this down and start it up? And then it starts kind of like the ideas, stuff like that. And then even the music sometimes kind of comes to me in that sense. And I'm learning that even for artists too, like I'm not necessarily priority like a main songwriter. And I'm okay with that. Like I can write, and do my thing, and then gotta have like my bros, like even you, Jay, Charles, people that can like help me learn those type of things. But I feel and I see like a lot, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I've been judging the type of music I want to do, the type of style I want to be, a part of, and the branding and all the stuff like that. So for you, when it comes to your creative process, are you more of a songwriter? Like you can write a song like right here, you know what I mean? Like there's some people that just has that gift of I write before I sing. Like are you more are you a songwriter?
I mean, I feel like everybody has a different process.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody got a different process. I mean, for me, in this new space, right? And again, I'm just praying, like, saying, keep it going, keep it flowing, 'cause you're flowing with me, huh? I feel like in this space, it's more like it's years of trial and error, and now it's like, and also because we've done the corporate stuff for so long too. It helps us kind of know where we're moving. Yes. Now, I'm also very particular too. Like, I was really stuck on trying to write hits, like, but that's also dumb because that's subjective what's a hit. But I also feel like, nah, like if you say, okay, I need a pop record and I need it to look like this and sound like this, then I got you, right? And then I'd be like mad particular, cool. But for the most part, I don't pen to paper, I mumble. Because MJ said, and I stuck by it, and I think it's real. He said, let the music tell you what it wants it to be. HER said the same thing too. And I wonder if she watched that same documentary. And I gonna hold you. Real talk. Those mumbles, I believe is, especially if you're prayerful, I'm sorry, is God depositing those words onto you. There are dreams. I've had literal dreams of whole songs, where I'd wake up and I'm singing the whole song and I'm like, hold up, that was a dream. That's not out. You know what I mean? And then I go for it, right? So I believe that moments where we're actually still, and I have a hard problem being still, but when I am still, I've been learning to be still because of this process. Being still, I'm in the music, my initial mumbles, take a breath, and I'm like, cool, I'm here with it. Bang. Mumbles, what am I trying to say? Bang, okay, I'm here. You want to go this way? All right, God, what you want me to say? This season, going forward, I pray going forward, I'm like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? No matter what the genre, what do you want me to say? Even in these deep house records now, what some of them want me to do, same thing. Are you gonna get this? What do you want me to say? You feel me? So, yeah. And I'm just starting to skew it now. I'm trying to skew it now because I've been wilding. I used to be wilding. You feel me? If I'm gonna represent the kingdom heavy, I gotta do it. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm doing it in a way that I believe that He would like me to do, and He's gonna be my making. Whatever He wants me to do, how He wants me to do it, I'm gonna do it.
I love that, man. And you need that mind frame too to just be strong-willed and exactly the things that you want to do and how you want to be ordered. Because like you said earlier, so easy to get tripped out off of what you see and expectations of others and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I guess for those of you that may have known or didn't know, like at one point you were in a relationship or you were engaged or?
Yep.
Okay. And now are you still engaged and together, or are you now
No, not anymore.
Okay.
That also helped in that sounds actually kind of petty. I was like, oh, it should help. That's funny.
Well,
no, no, that's not what I meant by
real look.
It was amicable. It was amicable.
Okay.
But still very much cool. I think we're both figuring out what life looks like. But I also recognize that first, it's difficult being an artist. That's one.
Right.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. One, it's difficult.
Right.
Heavy. Two, if I'm not beyond just being an artist, I feel like it goes down to purpose. But I feel like because we're artists, we're much more sensitive, right? If we're not serving our purpose, we will never, ever be everything that God wants us to be. But also, we'll lose ourselves, lose identity. Not saying that our identity is in the purpose; it's actually in the Creator itself. But it's to say that when you're being held from that purpose and you're being held from what you are divinely created to be and do, you will start to see changes in you that is not godly, is not cool. You feel me? So for the sake of everything and everyone, I said it was time. And it was like I had to do what I needed to do. And just to being candid and be honest, right? I am. I try to be Superman. You know what I mean? And that can often, without understanding what boundaries is, that can often hurt you in the long run. That's for anybody. I believe that's why we have so much chaos that's going on in the world right now, so much identity, a bit of identity crisis, but also bitterness between both genders, right? So when I said, okay, it's time to go back to the process of healing, right? But also identity and understanding what that looks like, I said, all right, cool.
Yeah.
That's why I also say I'm focused and distracted at the same time.
No, I understand that. Because like you said, it does take a lot just to be an artist, you know what I mean? But then it also takes a lot to find that partner to be an artist and to do life with. You know, like it's a lot of understanding, it's a lot of compromise, a lot of different things. And that's with any relationship, you know what I mean? But just the understanding of, hey, I'm across the country. And I'll be out there for what, 2 or 3 months, but I don't, you know, like it's those certain things too that it takes its toll, I'm sure, you know.
For sure. I mean, even like, you know, with that definitely. But also I recognize that if I don't know who I am, what can I give you? Can I provide for you, right? So, I mean, I'm only going by my experiences. I don't know what that looks like in the grand scheme of the people that have done it. Right? Because you see so much chaos going on in Hollywood with the couples that we tend to have put on a pedestal.
Correct.
Right? We've been with each other for X amount of years, and you see all this stuff that's going on. I ain't throwing shade, but it is what it is. Yeah. You know, so it's like, all right, cool, nah. And I'm very vigilant too. So I'm like, all right, let me understand this is my journey. I'm not putting nobody on no pedestal. I'm not putting nobody on nothing. Nobody's my example. If anything, God is my example, but also the mistakes that I've made, and let me do what I need to do. And if that means learning about me, healing, truly understanding what healing means too, not taking the time. You can take the time, but if you don't do any work, then what healing are you doing? Right. What's the process? Right. So taking that time and locking in. I got myself a Christian therapist. She's been amazing. And it's been, I believe, also helpful in the writing process, but also self-discovery. Again, if you know who you are, then you can better yourself for the world, especially if we have a gift, right?
Yeah, man.
Pouring in.
Yeah, man.
Can't give you poison through this water, you feel me? So
yeah. And the therapy is like key, you know what I mean? Like how long have you been doing therapy?
3 months now.
3 months.
3 months now. Yeah, 3 months now. Yeah. Oh, well, 4.
Yeah.
I think 4. Was it 41? Nah, I have 3. It's 3.
What made you, I guess, make that decision to start going to therapy?
When I noticed a change in my character, when I started noticing a change in my character, I was like, all right, listen. Nah. I spent X amount of years doing work on myself, and then again, you get into whatever situations that you get into, and you start to see a change in who you are. But I'm also thankful in that too, because again, everything works for the good, right? So when you think that everything is all peachy and rainbow and butterflies and all and unicorns or whatever it may be, why I love God so much is He will reveal to you the things that you don't even recognize are hidden. Right. So I remember talking to a good friend of mine. She's like, without even knowing the situation, I probably spoke for like 30 seconds. She said, "Can I stop you for a second?" She's like, I'm just being candid again. She's like, "Do you have like anger issues?" I said, "I don't think I do. I feel like up until recent, yes, right, because of the situations." And then she said, "You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a pretty house, but a rug, but something with a bump underneath the rug." And I said, I already knew where she was going. I already knew where she was going. She's like, "You've done a lot of work. You swept it up, but there's some things that you just sweep under the rug." And I love that. Because, cool, there are some things. And for me, if I'm conscious of something, I got to do it. I got to take care of that. You feel me? So just that process, when I recognized what that was and seeing that, and And again, if you're vigilant to and allowing the Holy Spirit to do what it needs to do, then you'll be okay with that season of discipline or self-discovery, right? And through there, I said, okay, it's time for a therapist. But I also, she was a divine connection too, because it was through my other homeboy, and off rip. And I wanted somebody that understood that a lot of the times it's the spirit, you feel me?
Yeah.
Now we going heavy to the Christian side. It is what it is. I want my fans to understand that it's just heavy with me too. And a lot of these things that we face are spirits. And for the people that aren't necessarily Christian that wants to know what spirits are, it's just things that are oppressing you. Those things that you think are just normal attributes and traits, they're not normal attributes and traits. The world that we live in is not just flesh. It is spirit. It is heavy spirit. You feel me? And as much as people want to accept other things that are spiritual, but not accept the fact that God is God, you have to recognize that don't make no dang sense at all. So if you can accept that, then understand that those oppressions that you're facing is a spirit. And I recognize that I was definitely allowing just the spirit of anger to kind of just live within me, not to say possess now, because it's a difference, but it's to say that I'm not doing what I need to do for me. I've swept what I needed to sweep under the rug for so long. And this actually has been an issue for years, but I've learned to kind of curve it versus learning how to face it and go forward.
But did you know that's what you were doing in those moments and times, like just sweeping stuff under the rug and not necessarily? Yeah,
definitely, 1,000% not. And I think it came out in certain areas, in certain places, and just because I'm respectful towards others doesn't mean that there might not be a season in the future that I just will blow up and won't care. Not saying this happened before, but saying that those things that are being revealed to you in the now definitely can't, rather I should say, the things that are being revealed to you in the now, God does not want later on in the future, right? Because you don't know what room or what doors you'll be in, and that piece in your character won't fly. You feel me? Definitely won't fly. And I'm thankful that I did the work, X amount of work that I did before I went to the UAE, because there'd be times you gonna get Brooklyn me, you feel me?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
But I've also been really humble at the very same time too, to recognize that ain't cool.
Yeah, and it's definitely just growth too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even speaking on the spiritual side of things, I always feel like God always gives warning before he gives destruction, you know what I'm saying? Or before destruction comes, I should say. And sometimes those warnings are just like those nudges or hints of realizing those moments that you're in. Say, okay, look, now is the time to get therapy, or now is the time to do this and then the third. Sometimes God deposits those just light bulbs in your heart and in your life to wake you up before something terrible comes along the way, and you can't help yourself. For sure. You know what I'm saying? And I've always stayed strong on that. And it's just like, man, I've always been gracious enough to kind of adhere to those warnings. And sometimes it's difficult for people, because you can know, and that's even the Holy Spirit and everything like that, like knowing deep down in your heart that it don't feel right. It ain't right.
Yeah.
Or either you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Or you should have said something, or you need to say something. But therapy helps you with those tools. You know what I mean? But it's really, at the end of the day, it boils down to the faith and the direction of God, because he will always deposit, you know what I mean, those notions on those moments that you need to wake up. And I think people sometimes, we talk about therapy and then we talk about God and we talk about, well, you're going to therapy, you don't believe in God and stuff like that. And I feel like all can exist.
It does exist.
And it does exist, you know what I mean? But you'll be surprised how many people still to this day would not even think about or consider therapy. And for us as artists, bro, especially for me, like, I know I need therapy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're feeling like you can't necessarily speak to other people about things, or may not necessarily feel like other people will understand your perspective on how you think or what you feel like is right or whatever. So therapy, bro, like, I commend you on that.
Thank you.
I definitely do, bro. I think that's extremely important, bro. And from then, because you've been doing that for 3 months, right? You've been doing that, writing.
Yeah.
Is new music coming soon?
Yes. And just to go back to the things that you've taught me as an artist to properly roll out a record. Right?
Yeah.
Definitely. And I'm so cerebral, man, and I'm forever living in my head. I am trying to get to the place of understanding in this new age, but also recognize how to build a proper team as I market it. Because I can release a record, cool, that's fine. But I feel like the pro in me being so meticulous and so cerebral is seeing how, this isn't going to be released right. I almost, I technically kind of went against that. Like I submitted my Tiny Desk, and it's an unreleased song. But that's gonna be the first single, just because that's an unreleased record. And I realized that, you know what, cool, whatever. But that's the live version. The record version is slightly different, and I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And I'll pull little footages from that. But even with that, I didn't even put it on my Instagram. I put it on my gram. On my YouTube, right? Knowing that every platform has its own kind of demographic of people, and the people that want to see the record, they'll check out the snippet of the record because it's the full record's on the Tiny Desk, right? But I've been sitting and praying about how I want to do it, how it looks like, how to properly roll out a record, how to garner real fandom behind the record. Personally speaking, it's not my strongest record at all, and I'm thankful because I feel like it just needs to kind of build, you know what I mean, to the records that I personally feel like, all right, this is the banger, this is the banger. But I feel like it's a good reintroduction to me now, because now this is going to be records that I've released under me, right? And again, it's such an eclectic sound, and breaking it into different EPs, right? It's now a matter of how to roll that out. So
yeah. I'm excited about that, man. Like, talk like that gives me really hype, because I think even what geared my mind into becoming more, I guess, creative in the sense of my artistry and the branding and all of that beyond the music was like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know, and mainly it was because I was tired of waiting around to get things done. So if I just learn how to do it, even if it looks corny or for whatever reason, at least I can, you know, get my creativeness out and something's there as a B, a plan B. Like, I'm always thinking in that order, you know what I mean? And it just grew from there. And I had like friends that would like help me out late nights. Like, I'll call Samantha, I'll call CJ, all these people, like, how do you do this? How do you make this, and then the third? And we just learned it. And then I started loving it, you know what I mean? And honestly, if you want to do great things, like, I just try to study great people. And I think like it goes back to what I was saying during the pandemic and stuff. I would be sitting in my living room watching every documentary about my favorite artists and what inspired them and how did they look at their inspiration and whatever. And when they come out with something, I'm the main one to go, okay, now who created that? Like, you know, let's put for example, Usher has a new album out. All right, who was the team?
Oh wow!
Like, I would go back. Like, who was the team? Who can, like, imagery? That, like, I want to see how that was done. Like, whose idea? And then it kind of like helps.
Taking a little bit of that, bro.
But seriously, like, just taking the time, like, to just be present, to just sit and learn and listen and look and stuff like that. It will like spark something crazy. So it's just started getting me going. Like, well, how can I? May not necessarily have the budget, but it doesn't mean that I can't strategize the same way.
Yes, agreed.
Or look at my art and what I'm doing the same way, with that same purpose, as if it was a billion, you know, dollar company behind me supporting it like a rollout. Yeah. So that's why I've always treated everything, like, if it's just a simple picture on out, as if it was a rollout that could be branded by $1 million like company behind me, because that's just what I've been studying and seeing. So, you know, with all of that, the new music now, especially coming in for you, I'm excited about, because that gives the opportunity to then get inspired for that rollout and for what that now looks like with the music. So are you gonna, I guess, figure out a way to express that now through how you're gonna roll it out? Or, because I know you say you've been thinking about it, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been it's so funny because people, it's weird. I am so much, again, in my head and so cerebral to the public, I'm an extrovert, but I'm a whole introvert, bro.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being like, people I really like, y'all see the silly side of me. Like, but for the most part, I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
Same.
And I think that's also a reason why there's so many genres and like genres, right? So I don't know. I really genuinely don't know. But I do know how I'll do the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first one is just the core of me. The first one is going to be mostly, I would say live production and the way that you release yours. Yeah. But more so in like records that you can play live without having crazy stems, right? So, and that's going to be a mix of like the songs from 10 years ago, and I'll put that into one compilation. That'll be first one. The second one, more electronic, more me being more experimental, because we're musicians, singers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I love about us too. And then the third, more of my culture going ahead. Just more like big rhythms and like, just rocking. And then the fourth, I'm really excited about the fourth, because I recognize there are records that are heavily like God influenced. I feel like when people say that, I want to speak about life, and you feel me, and God is part of my life, but I want to release this record, they don't really have a genre, quote unquote, for it. But this one is just like, I'm talking about you, God. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about my experiences, my ups, my downs in you, my anger at you, but also how to make it fun, right? Because again, you put all that in one album, that's gonna confuse the public.
Yeah.
That's gonna confuse the public, right? But these last ones, I got three of those in that like God category. That EP's not done yet. That's not done at all, and I like that one. I'm really happy. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I'm talking smack.
I could tell it in your face, like once you started talking more about that project, like I could just see the glow. Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, God, I love you. Like, I've been wilding. You know what I mean? Like, yo, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm excited about that project. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm excited about that project because, man, I'm not gonna talk smack about the industry and artists within the industry, because especially since I'm not at that pinnacle in the stage or fandom that most of these artists have. But I remember watching this one particular artist, and I was living in Harlem, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm recognizing the chant the crowd's saying, and I'm like, and I was singing that first too, and I was like, wait, hold up, what? I was like, that don't feel right. And for years, like sometimes I'll watch Instagram posts, or like I'll be that dude that will have a debate with different people. Like I got time.
Yeah, on the comments.
Like, I got time. You can talk about God, stop playing. Now mind you, who am I to do that? Like I'm not perfect, but that's one thing you're not gonna do is talk about God.
Yeah.
Right? So I said, all right, cool. And I'm watching this. I'm like, we're trying to make songs that I feel like we're, especially in that space, we're making songs. We want to make it presentable, but who's talking in the form of like offense, right? Like we're always on the defense. You feel me? What about being on offense? Right? And what does that look like? What does that sound like? While still maintaining the character of God. So I'm excited about that one, because at the end of the day, I said it before, only real ones are gonna last, and God's a real one. So that one I'm exploring sounds, the lyrics, the ideas, but also how to get the general public. If we're going to biblical times, the Jews and the Gentiles, as they trying to say, right? So how do we get the Gentiles to sing these records, right? And recognize that, God is real. He's dope. He's the Alpha. He's Omega. Stop playing. What's up? You feel me? So, and I love that one too, because there was one record, specific record. I'll never forget this joint, dog. The original lyrics were just vulgar, bro. Vulgar. Like it was a mix of MJ. Well, I mean production, just for the sake of production wise, it's a mix of Michael Jackson, Post Malone, Queen, Freddie Mercury, and me, I guess you could say, right? And there's like a little bit of Jay-Z cadence bounce, but all in all, the lyrics smacking, vulgar, catchy, feels good to play, feels good to sing, and I'm feeling it. I'm like, yeah, this and I'm like, I'm talking my smack, right? Actually, I'll just say it right now, but I'm not gonna say the curse, right?
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna win every effing honor, every single effing award, cause effing with the king is an honor, and he deserves a round of applause. And then I'm singing and I'm going in, and then as I'm singing, I felt the Holy Spirit in me, dog. But it was in some like, I'm in your face, and I'm singing, I'm like, da da da, and all I feel is like almost like my body feels snatched. And he's like, what about peace? What about honor? What about love? What about grace? What about greater? And I'm like, and I got chills and I'm shook. I'm like, all right, let me back up.
Yeah.
Let me back up. So that was like 2.5 years ago. And since then, I took a break from that record and I revisited it and I flipped it. And I was like, oh, my bad, you got it. You got it. Because I can't say what I said when I saw that artist. That was the same year I saw that artist making that chant. But then here I am writing this record, right? And so, yeah. So that's why I'm excited. Because I do believe that some of these records, the purpose behind it is for freedom, is for healing, for change. But to be on the offense, you know what I mean? That's it.
I respect that, man. And, you know, I think if you can be as relatable to everybody, like they understand the message, you know, because I think we've all had those moments where we didn't quite understand what was happening and why things were happening the way they were, you know what I mean? Yeah. And kind of like looking up like, God, what's really up? What's going on? Like, why am I, you know, X, Y, and Z, and why is the situation this and the third? So I'm pretty sure you're going to, like, there's a lot of people that can relate exactly to where you are in that process too. Yeah. And I'm excited to even hear it. So like when it's all like finished and done. So I guess the last thing, I guess we could both discuss and talk about, but what's keeping you inspired now, you know, moving forward?
That's a good question. What is keeping me inspired now? I think just the years that I just, man, the years as a collective of the on, off. You feel me? It's I understand that it's a marathon and not a race, like a full-on race. But those years that I took off, the years that to even go back to you at the beginning of the podcast, talking about like people that you could trust, the people that what's the word I'm looking for? That dishonor that trust. You know what I mean? And the people that believe in me now, but also the newfound confidence. You pair all of that together, that's what's really keeping me going. But also for me to make that massive shift and for all those changes to happen, to break up, leaving my team in real estate, and etc. I would be a fool and I'd be remiss if I squandered this time and opportunity. You feel me? So, and then, but also truly living in what I believe to be my purpose and going forward in that. That's really what's keeping me going. And honestly, I'm thankful for my immediate squad and my immediate team, because I was in a dark place. Shout out to my brother Vinny Keys one time. Shout out to my boy Sarang one time. I had to shout them out because I was in a place of darkness, and they saw that dark cloud over me. You feel me? And like that, my boys, they just got me, picked me up. Not only did they pick me up, they value me as an artist, value me as a vocalist, value me as a producer, as a songwriter. So, and then my boy Sarang value me on the cam, at least value me as what I believe I know I am, right? And so, yeah, that's what's also keeping me going too, dog.
I feel you on that, bro. I don't know. I guess, and I asked you that, and I'm sitting here like I didn't even think about.
What's kept you going, dog?
I mean,
I love. That's my record, boy. Let me play that joint out. Hey.
Yes, appreciate you, bro. Dude, man, shout out to James Show.
Such a, if I may say, you have such a way of separating who. I'm sorry, y'all. Of separating who James and James Dale is, and it's such an energy. I'm big on energy, bro. Like it's just you shift, and it's like, yo, that's crazy, you know? Yeah, it's amazing. It's a flip.
People really think I'm crazy because it's like I could be that, you know, whole JJ Man thing like that, which is, and it feels weird even saying it out loud, and then be around my real people and they know I'm just the most goofy, quiet to myself, like, you know, be in the corner somewhere and have my own vibe type of guy. And it's a, you know, not difficult balance, but it's enjoyable when I can, you know, be out there and I'm able to just produce and do what I need to do, and then have that safe place to come back to and safe people to come back to, and really just, you know.
Has it been difficult for that balance? Like, because now, especially in today's day and age, we can't just be artists anymore. Like, this is you not being an entrepreneur, but also being vulnerable at this moment. So are we getting both right now, you feel like?
I think I've always kind of been the same. I've just never exposed a lot.
Word.
And I think that's just always been what JJ Man was. JJ Man is, you're going to get what I give you. And like, that's it. You know what I mean? And I think now I'm starting to open up more. And even with the podcast and all this stuff I'm doing, and even going back to what you're saying, like what's keeping us inspired or whatever, it's just that I know in my heart that God really wants to bless me.
Copy.
Like, for real. You know, like, I know people always say, God's gonna bless me, but I know he really wants to bless me.
Right.
Like, he's put me in too many different situations at this point, blessed me to be around too many different people at this point, and
it's there, signs are
just
there.
So even though like everything can still feel, you know, kind of like uncertain, what's keeping me inspired the most is that I just know that God really wants to bless me, like in every situation, whether it's good, bad, difficult, with balancing on working with people. You know, like he's teaching me how to be in these moments for a reason. There has to be something that's crazy beyond what I'm seeing right now. And I think that's what's inspiring me, because I'm like, God, ain't no way I'm sitting here and doing the podcast and doing all this other stuff like that, and it's for nothing, you know. And he's showing me with that different expectation of knowing that he wants to bless me, and not in a desperation of, God, please win. How? God, if you just give me this. Or and he's been showing me all of that too, like just by sitting still. You know, we also say that it's a hard thing to do too, but sitting still, because it's been a moment where even in church, to grab my peace when I'm done. That's real, though. But what I'm saying, like, is for like the past few months or whatever, like to keep peace for me, because so much has been going on.
Copy.
You know what I mean? I will literally do what I have to do, and then like go up, like get out of the sanctuary and try to channel myself in. And I had to kind of correct that. I was like, no, you need to come in and actually sit down and actually hear the word.
Wow.
And I don't know what that resistance was of me just like, okay, I gotta go, like get out, because normally it wasn't my you know what I mean? But it's just sometimes that weight of just, it's another thing, it's another day, it's another, like it was starting to get to me. So I would just go to get some space, to get some peace. And for the past few months, I've been like sitting down, and every word has been like a deposit.
Wow.
For me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it may sound cliche, but
no, it's not.
It's really been that. Like every Sunday just been kind of like hitting me hard on just like the sermons that's been, you know, said. So it just kept that fire in me to know that God really wants to bless me. Like, you just gotta sit here and
knowing, bro. Oh
my
gosh.
Yeah, like I know. But it took a minute, because like for the past year or two, I've just been like in a weird moment of saying, hey, look, I know what I deserve right now. Like,
it's a great watch to register.
I know what I deserve right now. I know. And it's not even being boastful or crazy, but it's just like, I've worked.
Yes.
I worked. Yes. I know what I deserve right now. But then it's even hard seeing yourself in that light, because when other people start saying, I'm like, not me, not yet.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like I've reached those certain places, but I had to come out of, because it's cool to know what you deserve. Great to know that.
Yes, I think there's an understanding of having confidence within humility. It's understanding
right,
that.
Right.
But and then God's.
But you don't let that become the most like present thing that gears everything.
Yes.
And that's what was happening with me. It was like, I know what I deserve. I know, you know what I mean. And that was gearing a lot of other things.
Yeah.
As far as my decisions and how I go about. So I'm still in that process, but that's what's been keeping me inspired. Like,
oh man,
especially from the new year on.
Because
I've had a lot going, bro, from family being sick, a lot of people that were those to ground me and smack me on the face and be like, boy, you tripping, are like, you know, passed away, getting older now. So it's changes. And I'm not really that great with changes. And you learn that as you get.
I would actually love to hear that from you, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
On the record. like on a record.
That's been the problem. That's why it's getting all these love and promises and things like that, because it gets me into a bag to fill. Because right now it's just been me surviving. And you start canceling a lot of different things when you're just trying to survive.
Let me tell you.
So
that's a prayer. That's been my prayer. I said, Lord, I'm okay with surviving. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be in a place of surviving anymore.
Yeah.
And I live in a place where I'm thriving.
Yeah.
Peace. But then I said, God, is it me and my mindset that's doing that, or am I not doing what I need to do in the faith department? Because if it's the timing, it's the timing.
Yeah.
But at the very same time, Lord, hey.
Yeah.
Can we live in a place of just, I don't know, thriving versus, surviving? We're always going to survive. We're always going to hustle. But I'm just saying, I'm tired of anxiety. I'm tired of that.
It's so many it's so many different factors, bro. Even your environment, like even being here, like New York is a different, like you said, it's a hustle, it's a grind. It puts you in a different energy too. So it's just different things you got to learn and start taking the heed to. Like, okay, it ain't all, you ain't that crazy. Like it ain't all, look around you. Look at your environment, look what you're doing, what you're not doing. Start seeing that, and little by little, like just sit down and hear the sermon.
Yeah. Yo. Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's things like that. And that's what I even meant earlier when we talked about, like, he'll give that warning. Like, let you go through and handle that, go overseas, go do what you're doing. Yeah, go ahead, get engaged, go do all of that. But then now here's the warning.
Yeah. Every time.
So yeah. Well, bro, we'll be here as long as I can have you, but I do, want to consider and appreciate your time. So thanks again, bro, for just sitting down and having an honest conversation. I think we need to do that more. Us as artists need to do that more, just as a collective and as a body, and never know what other people are doing and facing and going through, so it can help you out too. So thanks again.
One time, bro.
One more time for Zaxaii in the building. We appreciate you, man. Thanks, bro.